register for APEC, the Alt Propulsion Conference. Over the last 2 years, we featured over 100 of the top PhD physicists, engineers, and innovators in breakthrough and emerging propulsion, and we're looking to grow the conference this year even more. APEC is a Zoom-based online conference event. It's always free and open to everyone. We've been featured in Popular Mechanics, The Debrief, and a number of other media publications. This year, we're going to take things to the next level with new presenters discussing warp drives, gravity modification, ion and nuclear propulsion, the UAP phenomena, and much more. We want you to attend, and even if you can't, please register for conference updates and replay info. Visit us online at altpropulsion.com and click the Join Us menu link to register. Our update list is private and confidential. We won't share your info, so register today. We look forward to seeing you at the next APEC event.
Right. So if you are like me and Bert and Ernie here and are a backyard inventor, a hobbyist inventor, backyard scientist, garage engineer, if you're working on something, if you're doing breakthrough science, energy science, if you got something to share and want to work with getting it out there open source, please do come register at altpropulsion.com and come into the APEC community. We need you. And Bert and Ernie there, right? So, and I'm going to be going deep into the electrolysis, alchemy, electrochemistry, electrolysis chemistry, and the transmutations that happen in the plasma state. That's the fourth state of matter. That's ionized gas, but that's ionized any atom, any element. That is essentially, fourth state. It's a quantum state material. That's the ormus, orbitally rearranged electric molecule, as well as Keshi calls it GANS, the gas, atom, nano, solid state. So what is Mehran Keshi stating in that acronym? It's actually very brilliant in describing what these monoatomics are. So gas atom is a single atom of that element, but it is so light dispersed, like it's floating, right? It's not a liquid. It's not dense like a liquid or a solid. It is just in this gas state, very small, like a speck, a single speck of dust, just like what a monoatomic flake of any metal is, the white powder of it, white powdered gold, ormus, GAN. So that is right, gas atom in a solid state, thus the powder, right, the solid powder state, gas atom, solid, or GANs, gas atom, nano. That's a key part of it. Nano measurement is so small. What is nanotechnology? It's essentially in cells, but smaller than cells because it's actually in atom pieces. It's literally on the atomic scale of building and technology. So when they're talking this nanotechnology, they're building with atoms, and it's this quantum atom level that nano scale is. That's lower. It's this smallest physical matter scale building that when you break it down, you're going into energy density, no longer physical matter scale density. Key understanding and part of that right there, and connecting nano to plasma to fourth state to quantum to the phase conjugation aspect that is the science of the breakdown and transmutation of energy, light wave, EM, radiation and spectrum and existence and particle matter, energy wave. Yeah, is it okay? Not math, the physical wave energy of existence and universe that goes into what is space, right? And what is outer space, and the how does it connect into and back through the relative matter space of universe. That's where you get the micro to macro, and the key part of what has been hidden and missing in the unified field theory of everything. And why I'm talking and going into this, what has inspired it so much, is the shout out to Terrence and to Joe Rogan and that podcast, and especially the Walter Russell diagrams. And that is the most relevant aspect of that needs to come out, and that Terrence seems to understand and explained on that Joe Rogan podcast. That a long time have understood that these Walter Russell geometry and octave and harmonization, these diagrams, literally tables and unified field theory like this, that Russell humanity and the world right here, and that Terrence has had that same grand universal source vision that I have at times, and many of us have, and anyone can have, when you connect in and see it all. And essentially that God source or creation source or universal source of structure and everything, but unify of it, conscious, and that it fits into all of this. This is the technical science structures and bridges of understanding, using, and purpose of sacred geometry, and what sacred geometry is, and how to apply it and understand and use it and plug it into our modern history and rest of science equations that and technology that we have, and can actually have the God scale technology, life, and understanding, but that with it comes connecting into that God creation source aspect of it. And it's the everything. And that's why the conscious science has been so suppressed in the West, and why currently the Oriental East ancient teachings and culture still, and practice that still exists within the roots and sub societies throughout all of Asia, as well as Africa, and all through the Orient and whatnot, but all over the world, essentially in the indigenous and the legend teachings of esoteric and occult. And here it is so elegantly displayed for all to see and use and apply from and by Walter Russell, I believe now over 100 years ago, and connecting sound with light, frequency, electricity, magnetism, matter and geometry. And what we're looking at here, written in this deuterium, tritium, and can I get closer to it? Oops, sorry, I should have had, oh, my apologies to everyone. I should have had that on a large scale so you could have actually seen it better, but now we're there a little bit better. So this is by Walter Russell, his original, for the love of goodness, it won't actually give me a full, what? On a full screen of it. So ridiculous. My apologies. Anyways, at the very top, above hydrogen, in the octave that is smaller, and at the top, 1.5 octave or half wavelength smaller than the first of hydrogen. So going into subatomic particles, Walter Russell predicted and wrote and put in place, what does he call it here? Can I freaking see it? Is it Belatanin? No, that's on the alpha phazon, an alpha phazon maybe, or oh man, no, there's another one that it's like I believe the word he calls it is a combination of hydrogen and like photon or something. Anywho, he predicted this subparticle particle that's literally just 2 days ago they came out and published, I believe it was on physics.org. I'm going to see if I can actually find this article right now, as it blew my mind and confirmed everything, and it confirmed Walter Russell's prediction of this existence of this hydrogen. It's an atom that is a full atom that is smaller than hydrogen of electrons and like anti-electrons or something. It's insanely awesome, important, now confirmed officially, as well as Terrence discusses it in depth on the Joe Rogan podcast as well. Although I haven't seen all of it. I still need to actually watch the majority of that. So maybe he does cover it. I'm not sure actually when the interview was done, and I suspect it was before this official release. So I'm not even sure if he knows that now. Maybe since, it would be interesting if the timing actually, it seems the timeline is that the establishment came out just after that Terrence Joe Rogan interview was done and released and published and confirmed what Terrence was saying, and also showing that Walter Russell had discovered or predicted, documented here over 100 years ago, and that they used it in their physics. Walter Russell, as well, what not a lot know, was actually very good friends and worked with Nikola Tesla for, I believe, over a decade, maybe two, back and forth sharing works and running ideas by each other. That I am left, just speechless at the thought or the idea of what would be contained in those conversations or any notes or any work that was done by between those two. Anyways, let's get back to what I was trying to show. In addition, so, oh man, just horrible that I can't actually get the proper larger scale of it. Either way, one of the key aspects is that it's octaves. It's done through in an octave harmonic scale, and putting physical chemistry and proportion into actual matter and physical matter and structure. It's crucial, and it's ridiculous that we're still given and taught only this original periodic table of elements. And what I find most amazing being the original alchemical periodic table, or symbols of the periodic table of elements. But what I now must do and realized and believe, suspect, and intuitively know that when we apply the symbol of name of each of these elements and put these pictographic symbols along into the placement of each of the elements on the octave periodic table of elements, Walter Russell's diagram of the octave scale, that I believe and know we will start finding relations that illustrate why those symbols are those specific symbols, because it is actual information which is encoded in these pictographic symbols, and that they are actually showing the structures of energy and matter and geometry of each of these elements and the aspects that are included within them. For instance, why I say this, what I have deciphered myself originally off of this key base teaching of ancient alchemy, and the proving and understanding that I first got of the significance and overall relevance of all of this ancient high technology and language and symbols and science that it is, and that these three laws, the three principles, essentially, although the first three principles labeled here, sulfur, salt, and mercury, are in overall alchemy are called the three principles right there. In actual practicality, the main three principles of alchemy that need to be understood to start deciphering the science of ancient alchemy and the language of ancient alchemy are all of these three main sets of alchemical symbols here. The second one being called the four elements, right? The flame, air, water, earth, plus elements, right? Cross plus elements. So what does this mean? So we have flame with a triangle pointing up, right? So what does that mean? Well, that's what is flame? Flame is plasma. Flame is actually plasma, and so plasma is the fourth state of matter, and it is actually lighter and above air, right? So it's ionized gas, ionized air, ionized matter. That's plasma. It's the fourth state of matter right there, and it's up. And then right below that, third, you got air, and that is a triangle facing up with a line just going through, just below the top there, noting it's one layer down, then charged in energy, then plasma, it's air, and then below that, right? So flame and gas, so plasma and air, or plasma and gas, air and flame, they both go up above, right? And then liquid goes down, and well, liquid's the next one. So it's a triangle facing down, and water is liquid. So that's the second or the third state. And then lastly, we have earth, or solid. What is earth? Earth is a solid, that is solid physical matter, and it is a triangle down with another line in it. So it's the densest. And then what is that fifth element? Well, or the cross plus the elements. Well, that's these four states of matter applied to the periodic table of elements, aka what we just had up there. Every element in its four different states of matter: solid, liquid, gas, and plasma. And then at the very bottom, we have the planets and metals, and that right there is a lesson and a whole complexity and advanced understanding and teaching that I have explained and done before, and will do again very soon, but it needs an entire whole episode on its own, which I am not going to try to get into today. Yes, I do, and I do need to be getting to sleep rather soon. And look at that synchronicity. Look at the clock again, and now it is 3:33 a.m. right here, and sure enough, it's like an hour and 11 minutes in, and wow, that is some synchronicity. But we will keep going for a bit longer. We're gonna connect in and share this tab instead, and this guy, here we go. So oh man, I'm gonna have to redo this with the full diagrams, but basically here is another periodic table by Walter Russell. There's several different ones in the circular diagram or dimensional schematics, each one having massive significance, relevance all on their own. And here you can see the plotting of the spheres of the harmonics going, from whole or center, negative, or to the positive in each scale up and down, and that you essentially apply that original vortex-based or harmonic periodic table of Walter Russell, the snake-like one, onto these ones starting from the center out, and that's how you calculate all the different information within them. Another one of them, and then also into these ones as well. It's the most advanced set of universal decoding and schematics in an analog manner I've ever come across, and the importance and relevance has never been more so than today, and that we need to all study and get into it and figure it out, and put it together day after day, but even more so, and into a series going into specifically this and covering it will be one of my main projects going forward that I've been holding off on the burners for a while, that I really need to bring to the forefront of the work, podcasts, and research and work that I'm doing, and actually start publishing it a bit more and focusing on it and getting it out there and collaborating on it with such lovely individuals as Esoteric Gold, Jeremiah Pop, Charlie C., as well as Benjamin Balderson, aka Odin's Alchemy, my man, and many, many more. All right. That was a heck of a decent long rant, and hopefully knowledge filled word sandwich that, when properly digested, inspires and makes sense to a lot of you that's watching this right now or at a later time. Get something from my rambling, droning on, and explaining, covering all of this. But I do believe and know in my heart of hearts that this is essentially God's work. This is actually this, like, spirit source, and this is the real source code. And you want a God code and language and God particle, it is all of this, and it is consciousness creation and breaking it down into sound, harmonics, octaves, lights, sound, color, and energy. It's all available in Walter Russell's schematics and diagrams. Like, it's wild. The fact that this has been like overlooked and suppressed for so long in the modern academic world is hopefully ending, because it's just so epic, and I can't stress enough the work of Walter Russell. And I need to get back to watching the full interview and all the information of Terrence and his understanding of it all in that Joe Rogan interview, as well as shout out to Bob Grenier and all of his work in the Martin Fleisch Memorial Project, and everything to do with the plasma, with the harmonics, with phase conjugation, with the EVOs, with the ball lightning. What is ball lightning? Well, it is flame. It is essentially electrical plasma arc. It is ionized matter, aka it is the fourth quantum matter state that also seems to have consciousness within it. And also, if it's quantum, then it goes throughout space-time and so much more. And that's where you're able to get over unity and all of these transmutations and everything else. But it has to happen in a harmonic, resonant, natural way that phase conjugates into nature and matter itself, where you just absorb and disabsorb into the underlying ether of the structure of energy and flow of our universe and existence. And the ancients understood and connected and applied and used it in a much higher degree than we currently do. And, well, it's life's work of bringing it all together. And thank God for Walter Russell's life work and all of the charts and diagrams that he gave to us in this world. And one last time here, this being the base, original octave spiral vortex geometry periodic table of Walter Russell, and on it at the very top it's so alphanon, betanon, where, no, it's up in this top. Why can I not see it? Anywho, one of those, and anon, the irony in 2024 that one of those anons that Walter Russell predicted and came up with over 100 years ago, just from the geometry of applying geometric fractal scales to the rest of chemical elemental reality and matter and universe, gives you and him that energy particle that is subatomic, that is still atomic, that exists one octave below hydrogen, and which was just proven and confirmed and a day or two ago in physics.org. I believe it is. I'm really upset that I don't have that article up right now, but I will cover it and show it at a later time. Anywho, how are all of you 33 watching right now? It says, and it is 3:41 a.m. All right, okay, moving back to what this part of which I wanted to show, back to the megalithic, marvelous megalithic Monday that we were originally covering and wanting to cover and trying to cover literally since Friday, I think. In the short ones, let's finally cover some more Olmec heads and pyramids and everything else. But my computer is freezing and hopefully not crashing again. Please bear with. Oh, come on. Oh, there we go. Still here. Okay. What to share with all of you? Oh, Mac. Oh, and it freezes again. Come on. My apologies.